Max here from Gosh Cakes. In today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to make bake and decorate hand cut sugar cookies. It's literally an A to Z tutorial on sugar cookies. From making the dough through to rolling and cutting without a cookie cutter, making royal icing in an outline consistency, flood consistency, and then hand painting in a couple of details for extra effect. All the recipes I use will be in the description below. Please feel free to leave comments if you like. And if you enjoy the video, please remember to like and subscribe. Okay, let's get started. Okay, to make our sugar cookies, we're going to use the following ingredients: 200 grams of softened butter, a cup of caster sugar or 200 grams of caster sugar, 1 egg that I've lightly beaten up, 3 cups, 420 grams of flour, and then just going to be adding a teaspoon of vanilla essence. In your mixing bowl, we're just going to add our caster sugar and your butter. And we're going to pop that into the mixer, either your K-beater or your paddle attachment, and we're going to cream butter and sugar together. Okay, once it's nice and creamed together, we're going to add the beaten egg, your flour, and just a teaspoon of vanilla essence. And that's all going to go back into the mixer and mixed until it's well combined. As you start mixing it, it's first going to become very crumbly. Just carry on mixing and mixing and mixing. It will eventually combine itself and you'll get a dough that looks like this. At this point, we're going to take it out, pop it into some clingfilm, and then put it into the fridge for about an hour to set before we use. Just shaping it into a ball. Popping it into some clingfilm. Okay, and that can rest in the fridge for about an hour. The dough is firmed up nicely. Just cut off a portion. By using the 2 pieces of baking paper, I eliminate having to flour my work surface, and also then helps to not dry out the cookie. I want to roll this until it's nice and even. If you've got them, lovely to work with our spacers. They're about ½ centimeter. I'm just going to pop them onto the sides, and that way when I'm rolling, my roller rests on them and I can then get a nice perfectly even thickness throughout the cookie dough. If you don't have spacers, you could use little dowel sticks, skewers, society sticks, anything that's you've got 2 of that would give you the same thickness, and that way the rolling pin is resting on them and you get a nice even thickness across. And once you're happy with your dough and its thickness. I'm going to pop this into the freezer, probably about 15-20 minutes. Because I'm not using cookie cutters and I'm going to be cutting out a template, I want this to be nice and firm so that I don't drag the cut line when I'm cutting, which you'll see when we do it. Okay. How to slide it into the freezer, because it's just on baking paper. Just take a cutting mat or any mat tray, back of the tray, just pop it onto a mat, and now I can pick this up comfortably and put it in the freezer. While my dough is firming up, I've just printed out a little template of what I want him to cut out. So yeah, I've got my bunny's face and his back paw and his little front paw. Something a little bit stronger than just a plain 80-gram paper, but if it's all you've got, just print it out onto normal paper and then cut it out from there. Okay, once your cookie dough is nice and firm, you can remove your top sheet, and we're now going to go into cutting from a template. Place your template on the dough. Don't push too hard. Using a sharp pointed knife, we're going to just cut round the sides. You can see by using a sharp knife and a frozen dough, you don't get a drag line, but a nice even cut. Right, then just continue cutting. I'm going to cut out 2 little back paws, 2 front paws, and the little face. You can also use a blade for something that's got more points, more little angles to it. Use a sharp pointed blade. Once you finish cutting all your little templates, just use a knife and remove your outside piece. And you can then place your cookie onto your cookie sheet. So once all the cookies are cut out, you've got all your shapes, space them out on a baking tray, pop them back into the fridge for probably about another 30 minutes or so. I want them to be nice and cold before you put them into the oven. That way they will keep their shape and they don't spread out whilst baking. I'm going to bake them off at 200 degrees Celsius for about 10 minutes or so until they're light golden brown color. I'm also going to just keep an eye on any bubbles coming out while they're busy baking. Okay, so you're wanting to bake your cookies until they're a nice light golden brown. If you do have any little air bubbles, just take a flat offset spatula and just rub gently over the top, and you will flatten out any of the little bubbles. This is going to help for when you're piping them so that you don't have any raised lumps when you do your royal icing. To make royal icing, we're going to use 500 grams of sifted icing sugar, egg whites from 2 eggs, and just a teaspoonful of water. Put that into the mixer, and I'm going to beat it up with my whisk attachment for about 10 minutes till it's light and fluffy. You can also use lemon juice if you'd prefer. I use the water so that I don't have the extra yellow coming from the lemon juice. I'm just going to put a sieve on top of the smaller bowl, and I'm going to swish it through the sieve just to make sure I eliminate any little lumps that might be inside there. Lumps inside the royal icing will clog or block up your icing nozzle tip. I'm just going to take a paper towel and dip it in some water and squeeze it out, and placing the paper towel directly onto the surface of the royal. This will keep it from getting a crust. And then I'm just going to cover that with some cling film, which will keep it nice and airtight and prevent a crust developing on the top. I like to make some of the black for the outlining. I'm just going to take some of my royal that we made, close that off again. Some black food colouring. Need a bit more black in there. I usually work with concentrate food colours. My favourite in a gel range is the Colour Burst, which is made from sugar and craft. Whichever is your favourite choice. Because I'm working with a concentrate, I'm not going to try and get a pitch black in my royal. I'm going to just get a nice dark charcoal. This is going to turn black as it sets because concentrates do that. The longer they stand, the more the colour will develop. So I'm working with a consistency that's not a stiff peak, just hold its shape when I move it around. I'm going to take just a disposable piping bag, cut the tip off. And I'm going to use my coupler. Will go inside the bag. I'm going to work with a size 2 piping nozzle and then close him off. The reason for using the coupler is going to be to allow me to change the nozzle size when I need to, without having to do a whole new piping bag for a different size nozzle tip. Okay, you can take your template and then we're just going to cut it up into little sections so that we can transfer a little outline. And place this onto your cookie, and then using an edible pen, Okay, and once you've traced out your outline, we're now going to pop over that in our royal icing. Once it's done, set it aside. We want this black outlining to be set really well so that when we do the flood icing inside, the black color doesn't bleed out into the lighter white, pink and light gray that we're going to use. I've added some of my black royal, all the food coloring, to the white to give me a lovely gray. Done the same for the pink, and then just soften the white. I want it to get to a consistency when I turn it, because I now want to flood, that as I lift it up and let it run down, it needs to settle back down to smooth in about 15 to 20 seconds. So you can see with my grey, I need to soften it down a little bit more, so that it's going to be, I'm just going to add a little bit more water to it because it's still holding its shape. And just by adding more water to it, just a little bit at a time, stirring it up and making sure that it's settled back down to a smooth surface within 20 seconds. Okay, and once you're happy with your consistency, I'm going to pop it into a piping bag. Just over your end, and put your elastic band and over to secure it so no icing comes shooting out the other side. Once you've made your bags up, and just pop them inside a damp cloth, keeping the tips nice and covered. That way your royal icing won't set and crust inside the tips. Get his nose to stand out nicely. Once I've filled in the whole area, I'm just going to go back inside, put the nozzle inside and squeeze more inside, which will puff it out nicely. Nice way to make sure you keep that little curve. And do a crossover to ensure that you get that lovely little shape. I've cut out the little paws from my template and I'm going to now transfer this onto my little paw cookie. And again using an edible pen. Right, now I can go and flood ice that. First going to do an outline and then flood. Okay, and just to finish off, just piping in a little dot for reflection of light. Alright, she's all finished painting, piping, just needs to finish setting and get nice and firm, and you can then use her as you like. I'll show you a finished picture of what I did with mine. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. See you next time.